this is Vincent Crowley from the American Macabre Metal Band, and you are listening to The Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International. And I'd like to congratulate Metal Messiah Radio with its 13th anniversary. Hail Metal!
Vincent, it's a great pleasure to have you here at the Metal Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International.
It's very good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Vincent is surely known by all fans of black and death metal. The once ordained priest in the Church of Satan leads the arcane gods of Acheron through 30 years of darkness, creating sinister music for Black of Heart. Vincent, please present yourself and tell us about the early days. How or whom got you into metal?
Well, I would have to say my name is Vincent Crowley. I'm in the band Vincent Crowley, also in the band Infidel Reich, formerly of Acheron. Basically, metal, like the old school rock and roll, got me started in metal, like, Alice Cooper, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, stuff like that had kind of like darker elements to the music, which then evolved into heavier stuff and different stuff. So that's how kind of like I first dipped my foot into it.
Okay, Vincent, Acheron, a black death metal band that was formed in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania back in 1988 by you, formerly of Nocturnus and leader of a Satan youth group, Order of the Evil at the time. To go back in time, Vincent, how was this band formed and how was the years gone as part of Acheron? And why did you decide to put an end to this band?
Well, actually, the band idea started back when I was still in Florida. I just ended up traveling to a few different states. When I left Nocturnus, I had the idea for the band and how Acheron was going to be, but I wanted to have a different scenery. So I kind of moved up north and lived in a couple different states and tried to find people. And then when I got to Pittsburgh, everything, I met the right people and we started playing together, and that's when the journey began. Now, the Satanic Youth Group thing, that's just some media bullshit. I did have an organization that was linked to an old organization I was with, the Church of Satan, kind of like my own thing, but that was for like anybody. It wasn't for just young people, and it was a satanic anti-Christian movement at the time.
Okay, if we look back, 30 years, it's not 1 or 2 days. What was those 3 decades?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs throughout 30 years, lots of different members, lots of different albums, good and bad. I enjoyed every minute of it, even the torturous parts. But yeah, it was a good ride at the time, and I just felt it was time I did everything I really wanted to do in that band, and I wanted to do something different. That's why, I moved on to this band.
As we just said, after 30 years of fronting Acheron, you put the band, in 2019 to rest, to pursue a solo career under the name of Vincent Crowley. Band, back from the Blackened Abyss, this new musical entity veers to a different dark path from your past work. Vincent, don't you mind to introduce us this your macabre metal project, please?
Yeah, it's a big influence of mine for many, many years has been King Diamond. And when I got to the point in Acheron where I didn't want to start rehashing the past and just putting out the same albums with the same lyrics and the same type of stuff all the time, I wanted something fresh. And just like how King Diamond kind of went from Merciful Fate to King Diamond, I kind of took that little idea and ran with it. And the guitarist Art Taylor that was also in Acheron at the time, we both decided to kind of move forward and still do the darker stuff, but have different lyrical concepts, different musical influences within the music, and kind of take it a step beyond where Acheron was.
But besides introduced as a solo band, do you have other musicians working with you for this project in one or the other way?
Well, it's really weird because I know it's been labeled a solo project, but Vincent Crowley is a band. People I'm with, we all are a part of this band. I'm not using like studio musicians or anything. This is just as much a band as, Acheron was, probably even more because all the people I'm working with right now are continuing to stay in the band and we plan on doing more stuff. So Vincent Crowley is a band, not just a little solo project.
So would you like to present us the band current lineup?
Yes, we have Art Taylor on lead guitar. We have Ryan Archer on drums and Eric Stewart on lead guitar also we just hired.
Okay, but yes, on this new project, I see that you're working with a special guest that, you might want to introduce as well.
Well, we have a couple special guests.
Yeah, a couple, yes.
Well, on the U.S. release, we have Josh from Nocturnus AD playing some keys. On the actual album, we have Aaron Werner, who used to play in Acheron, doing keyboards. And we have Ludo from France, a friend of mine, that's doing the intro and the outro.
Okay, great. On last April 27, the band and Odium Records have launched a lyric video for the band's first single, La Muerte, from the band's debut album, Beyond Acheron. Is there anything you'd like to share with us about this lyric video, Vincent? And will there be another single to be released anytime soon?
Yes, the main concept of the album, the title obviously is kind of like the bridge between the last band and this band and the new journey. The whole concept of the album is all stories about everything linking to death in some way, shape, or form. So the Muerte is about just that, death, the Reaper, Thanatos, anything that, God of the dead. So it's basically the main concept of death. That song itself is very influenced by, the heavier stuff like Celtic Frost or Black Sabbath or stuff like that.
Okay, but yes, as I just asked you, do you have another single to be released anytime soon?
Yes, we'll have a single it's another lyric video for My Eternal Vow, which should be out in the next week or two, debuting.
Wow, I can't wait for this.
And again, on the songs on this album, they kind of vary. On the new single, pretty much my vocals are a little bit more like black metalish to a lot of parts, or even old school thrash, but it's very slow song. It's very Sabbath driven and maybe Bathory kind of feel to it.
Yeah. Okay, talking about, these kind of different, melodies or sound on this new album from this new project or band. Normally, we never judge an album by just one song, but after have listened to the first sign of this new band, it sounded so much into direction of more atmospheric and, doomy death metal. What would you say are some of the key elements of the sound of Vincent Crowley band?
Well, it's weird because, we've actually, the label has sent out stuff, album to get reviewed by different people. And the funny thing is, I can't really label our music because there's elements of everything we're doing. We got elements of death, we have elements of black metal, we have elements of doom metal, and we have a lot of influence of just classic heavy metal, as you can hear with the melodies and the guitar sounds. So that's why we kind of just call it macabre metal, because it's just dark metal, with that element to it. If you hear the whole album, you'll see that, not everything sounds the same. Not everything's kind of like pieced together the same. And that's exactly the way we kind of want it. And myself and our guitarist, Art Taylor, were the ones who started this and wrote all the songs to get things going. And Art is a phenomenal guitar player. And just adding the melody and kind of focusing more on the songwriting than just trying to make stuff super extreme and trying to give the songs more of a feel than just be super fast or, just totally slow. So it's a whole different thing.
So, yes, as you were saying, this new band is covering a whole wider range of different flavors, different elements, if you have to compare to Acheron.
Oh, absolutely. There will always be a little bit of Acheron flair to the stuff because I'm also obviously writing material for it. But now Art and I are writing material together, and we're also trying to go beyond what that style was. The problem with Acheron was, even since the first album came out, Right to the Black Mass, people always compare your later material to that. And it got to the point where you do a great album and people were like, well, it doesn't sound like this album. And got to the point where it's like, I don't want to have to compare it to anything. What we're doing now is brand new. What we're doing now, we do it because we think the songs are good. We think, we like what we're writing, and we're not having to kind of compete against past releases. So hopefully people will like this. A lot of people that were Acheron fans that I've played this for really like it, and they say it's its own entity, but it still has that kind of dark element like Acheron has, but it's not being a clone of the past.
Okay, the band's debut album will come out this June 2021. The 8-track album combines a dark sound with a great production lyrically. Beyond Acheron is a concept album. Vincent, could you please, describe the whole album, the tracking list, and some description to each song, please?
Okay, we start off, we had a friend of mine named Ludo from the band Vow, that's from France, and he did the intro and the outro, which is kind of like the start and end, the pieces, like all the songs together. The first song on the album is called Where No Light Shines, and that is basically a story based on the Greek mythology of someone dying and crossing the river Styx and getting to the underworld. So now it's kind of symbolic of, which Acheron is one of the rivers of the underworld, and kind of like what I'm doing to go beyond my past. The second song is My Eternal Vow, which will be the new single. You could say that's our romantic love song. That's about a couple who get married and the woman dies and the gentleman keeps the corpse because he can't let her go and makes a shrine to her. So the third song is La Muerte, which, like I mentioned before, is about the concept of, death, the Grim Reaper type of thing. Fourth song is Bring Forth the Dead, which is a story about a group having a seance at a house that had a massive murder at, and they invoked the things that they didn't expect to get, and demonic forces basically take over the whole seance. And fifth song is Masquerade Du Macabre, and that is basically based on Edgar Allan Poe's The Masque of the Red Death. The whole song's basically the story, his story, put to music. And then the final song is called Farewell at Death's Door. And that was a song I kind of morbidly wrote for myself. That was, if I was to die, that would be my going away song. And it's just basically like if someone's ready to die and they're fine with it, what you would say at that time.
Okay, Vincent, is it a 6-track album?
Well, it's actually 8 tracks with the intro.
Okay. No,
and the outro. Outro.
Understood. Thank you very much, Vincent, for describing us the album tracking list. Talking about this album, how did you share some of the responsibilities within the band as far as songwriting is concerned?
Yeah, I did a lot of the songwriting. So Art and I, we had been writing songs even right before Acheron broke up, and we had a lot of material. So when Acheron broke up, we worked for over a year to try to get stuff together. So we finally kind of came together and really focused on picking apart the songs and restructuring them. And so I'm definitely a big part of the songwriting for sure.
Beyond Acheron was recorded at Sonic Launch Studio in Grove City, Ohio, and engineered, mixed, and mastered by Veers, who also worked with Jacob's Dream, Robot Lords of Tokyo, etc. How was entire recording process gone at Sonic Studio, and are you satisfied in how the mix and master was done by Veers?
Yeah, recording at Sonic Lounge was a great experience. In fact, I wish we would have recorded with him long ago. Actually, our guitar players, Art and Eric, I think they knew Joe from the scene back in the day. Joe was a part of the underground metal scene back in the late 80s and stuff too. So he knew the sound we were trying to get. He knew we wanted good production, but we didn't want it too polished where it sounded like fake. So he was just very open. He was a big part of the sound too. He really helped us in kind of molding the clay to get this what we wanted.
But have you worked with Joe before? I mean, working on any release of Acheron?
No, this is the first time I've worked with him.
You are very satisfied with the end result?
Oh, absolutely. It was a great experience. In fact, last month we recorded 2 bonus songs for the U.S. release of the album, which will be on Hellhammer Records. And that, we recorded 2 songs. One was like a 10-minute song called Awakening the Four Horsemen. And we actually re-recorded a song from the last Acheron album called Thy Father's Suicide, which lyrically had the concept that fit the album. So Joe recorded those with us again, and again, he did a perfect job.
Okay. Okay, Vincent Crowley goes Beyond Acheron with Odium Records, which is a small elite underground label mainly occupied with extreme black metal and works with bands like Greek Scott, Polish black metal, also on the roster Vulture Lord, Norwegian black thrash metal with members of Veers, Captain Forest, yes, and many more great bands that are on the roster with Odium. Yes, with Odium, I mean, this great label. How did you guys decide to work together? And are you happy to be on the record label, and especially with all the great bands I just mentioned, Vincent?
Yeah, absolutely. Odium, the owner Shadow, when he first contacted me, we were kind of trying to look for a new label, and he kind of presented to me what his idea was. He likes to focus more on less bands and put more energy into them than just signing a bunch of bands and just putting them out like a lot of labels like to do. And after talking with him and figuring out what his plan was, I liked what he was saying, and we worked out a deal for European territory for Odium. So yeah, he's been doing a great job. The PR has been great. He's been really, pushing as much as he can. And this is also a new territory for him because we're not black metal band per se. So this is like a new journey for him to, have a different type of band on his label. Trying something new right now. So it's pretty interesting.
Not to forget, I must mention that more bands that are signed with Odium, we have this great band, Hellborn, a black death thrash metal band out of Poland with ex-members of Behemoth and Damnation. More bands that we have signed on this label, it's Black Altar and Varatron and many, many more. Okay, to continue with this interview, Vincent, the album is going to be released in June, as we just said, as a digipack, CD jewel case and CD, limited wooden box, LP, and all digital platforms, together with Cold Norwegian Vulture Lord, which back after 17 years with a new album, Desecration Rites. Please tell us more about this limited wooden box, and in what colors will the vinyls be available?
The wooden box, it looks amazing. I'm not sure exactly about the color of the vinyl. I forget. We have a couple different releases. Odium is our European label, and we have 2 other labels putting this album out too, one in the US and one in Brazil. So I can't offhand remember exactly, but the box set is only going to be through Odium, and that will have like a t-shirt, album, I think CD, was a t-shirt, patch, sticker. It's just full of stuff, and it's only there'll be a limited 66 copies made of it.
Only?
Yeah.
Oh, and are they already available? I mean, those who want to do the order now online?
Yes, I believe they are taking pre-orders right now.
Okay, very great. And how about the vinyls, Vince? In how many colors do you get them?
Honestly, I don't know the amount of colors. I know they're doing different variations. Offhand, I couldn't tell you how many different ones they're doing, but I know they're doing a couple different styles for sure.
I guess in limited quantity as well.
Yes.
For those out there, yeah, you have to rush. I mean, don't wait till the last minute. Pre-order your limited wooden box or pre-order the vinyls now. As you hear the interview, you have to order now in order for you to be the first one to be the happy one to have this great one in your collection. Yes.
Well, also, as I said, Odium is our European label. We are going to have two other different versions. One's going to be in the U.S. and it will have some bonus tracks, and that's going to be on the Hellhammer Records. And then we're going to have a special Brazilian release, which will actually be a lot in Portuguese, and that will be on Black Seal Productions. And those will be out at the end of June also. The vinyl, I'm not sure with the U.S. because they're doing a double vinyl, I think, now in the U.S. So, but that's in the works too. So there's a lot of good stuff coming out.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for this information. Wow. To be honest, I will prefer to have my hand on the one with the bonus tracks.
Each label's doing a very unique release. None of them look the same. I mean, they're using the same artwork, but the layouts are different. It's going to be good all around.
Okay. So. Talking about artwork, a stunning cover artwork, I must say, that was created by German Timo Weers, who adorns albums by Obscura. Oh, yeah, Rhythm and, of course, Acheron. I haven't worked with Timo already in the past. How was your fantasies put into reality this time by this great German painter or Timo?
Yeah, like you mentioned, Acheron, he was the artist for 99% of the Acheron releases and from 2000 on, and he's always been a great guy to work with. He's an awesome artist, and we were trying to kind of capture a more horror movie feel to the album, and I gave him kind of we didn't want to get too complicated, we wanted to kind of make it feel like an old horror movie poster almost, and he came up with some great stuff. Just gave him my ideas, and like usual, he did exactly what I said and in his own way, and it worked out really well.
Okay, how about the band logo? Talking about this cover artwork, I'm looking at it now, but I noticed, what a great band logo. Where did you get it from?
Moonroot Art did that for us. The gentleman who does that, he did that logo and he did the VC sigil we use also. He did that a while back, and we loved what he came up with, so I think we're going to be sticking with that.
Thank you for this explanation. Yes, going to the last part of this interview. Metal and darkness entwined. Beyond Acheron is steeped in the aura of days gone by, when the underground was place of a mystery and treasure hidden from the light. When Odium Records and the Vincent Crowley issue their invitation to hell this June, be ready to board. The ferryman is waiting. Okay, at the end of 2021 or beginning of 2022, after all this vaccination is completed throughout the entire world, what are the band plans for live performances in support of this great new album, Vincent?
Well, we're basically, since there's no shows really happening right now, we're still writing new material. We already have probably enough songs for a new album, so we're working on that new material right now, and as soon as clubs start opening the doors again to play, we'll definitely get out there and start playing shows. So right now, it's just basically, working on material, keeping busy, stuff like that. I also have another band called Infidel Reich, and we just finished recording an album, and that will be out at the end of the year on Raw Records. And so I've been keeping busy. It's a pretty good year.
Okay, talking about this other bands, so there's any possibility that we will have you back in interview for this release?
Oh, absolutely. Sounds great.
Okay, keep us posted, please. Yeah, but in the meantime, talking about, Vincent Crowley band, do you believe that? I believe that everything is open back in 2022. Let's be honest. I don't believe 2021, but for 2022, anytime, are you guys already approaching festivals, approaching promoters for live performances?
We're definitely looking for the right festivals to play. Yeah, we're definitely trying to work on stuff like that. We are definitely open to play any festival that's, worthwhile to play and start playing the music to the public.
But any shows confirmed already?
No, there's no shows confirmed confirmed. It's been pretty bad I know there's been some festivals that have been booking shows. In fact, last year, there's a lot of festivals that were booked and then they got canceled and what have you. Personally, I believe stuff will open up when I actually see it opening up. I know slowly, I know like Florida has opened up to shows and stuff, but it seems like every week there's another problem and they try to shut stuff down. So it's kind of like I'll believe it when I see it, when they actually start doing shows again.
But Vincent, how do you see the vaccination is going in the United States?
With COVID?
Yeah.
I personally won't get one. I mean, I think there is a virus out there. I think it is taking its toll on some people, but I also think they're blowing things up to make it more than it is. And I think, if people just use their common sense, we don't have to be like stuck in houses like caged animals all the time. And as for the vaccine, me personally, to each their own. If you want to get it, that's your prerogative, but I don't think anybody should be forced to get a vaccine that's only been on the market for a year and that's showing signs of side effects. That's just my personal opinion.
But you know what's where the trouble comes is that when you need to fly and all these companies are requesting at least a proof of that you have taken the 2 shots.
Oh, absolutely. That's the big problem, because then your freedom to decide what you want to put in your body becomes mandatory by the government or a company. And just like with masks, it's been proven, unless you actually have COVID, masks are useless. You can still get it wearing a mask. They're just like not dealing with it realistically. And, I've noticed too, they concentrate more on the masks than they do on keeping things clean now, like they used to when it first came out. So, you can wear a mask all you want, but if they're not cleaning grocery carts or phones or whatever, you're still going to get in contact with it. I just think the media has blown this up to be really crazy and make everybody in fear. And, we've gotten through stuff like this before. Mankind, they just has to, figure it out.
But believe me, especially when we talk about big festivals, they will continue. And if you want to buy a ticket or to be there, you must show this proof that you have been vaccinated.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen, because unless I'm totally forced to do it, I don't personally plan on doing it.
Okay, to end this interview, actually, yes, I want to thank you, Vincent, for taking time out for this interview. And I want to hand you over the microphone of Metal Messiah Radio for you to invite all your friends or your fans to support the bands and to buy the band's upcoming debut album, Beyond Acheron, later this year via the prestige Odium Records. Vincent, my last question before we end this great interview. Since this is the band's very first release, how about merch?
Well, all the labels, I know Odium has a lot of merchandise available now. Hellhammer Records, I think we'll have merchandise soon. And we just signed a licensing deal with Season of Mist. So they'll have that on their website in their t-shirt section.
But so far we are talking, you only have t-shirts available?
Yes. Shirts and long sleeves right now. I think Odium has like patches and pins and stuff like that. And Seasons of Mist, I believe they have all kinds of stuff. I think they have shirts, sweatshirts. There's a list of stuff I guess they have.
Vince, the microphone on Metal Messiah Radio is all yours to thank whomever you want to thank.
Yeah, I'd like to thank, of course, the Vampire from Metal Messiah Radio and taking his time out to support the band. I'd like to support all the listeners and Odium Records, Hellhammer Records, Black Seal Productions, and all the fans that have supported me throughout the years. And very dark anniversary to the 13th anniversary of Metal Messiah Radio.
Vincent, please, before we leave, I'd like for you to say hello to Art for me, say hello to Ryan for me, say hello to, all those who are responsible and contributing with this great new band of Vincent Crowley. And I wish you all the best with the band. I wish you all the best with this upcoming, great new debut album, Beyond Acheron. And I hope to see you guys on the road sometimes in the 2022 for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your support and everything.
Okay. Yeah, Vince, so once again, thank you very much. It was a great honor to have you in an interview. And like I always say, metal on. Bye-bye.
Hails.